It was January 13, 2024. The divisional round of the NFL playoffs. The Washington Commanders were set to face off against the Detroit Lions at Ford Field. A matchup that had captivated the country. Both teams had risen to prominence through grit and a touch of magic. Detroit with their explosive offense and Washington with a defense that seemed forged from steel. The stakes couldn't be higher. Ford Field buzzed with anticipation. A sea of Honolulu blue and burgundy jerseys filling the stands. The temperature outside was frigid, but inside, the energy was electric. Fans roared as the teams entered the field. The Lions led by their superstar quarterback, Cole Stanton, and the Commanders by their indomitable linebacker, Darius Holloway. It was a night destined for history. Or so everyone thought. The first half unfolded like a classic thriller. Stanton connected with his star wideout, Malik Jordan, for a stunning 65-yard touchdown on Detroit's opening drive, setting the tone. Washington answered with a methodical drive, capped by a bruising goal line run from running back Ramon Carter. The game was a chess match, each team trading blows, neither willing to give an inch. By halftime, the score was tied at 14. Commentators debated strategies and player matchups, while fans debated over overpriced nachos and beer. But as the second half began, something inexplicable happened. It started with the lights. At first, it was just a flicker, a harmless glitch. Or so it seemed. The massive LED boards around the stadium blinked, momentarily casting the field in eerie shadows. The fans groaned but quickly dismissed it, chalking it up to an electrical hiccup. Then, during the third quarter, with Detroit leading 21-17, everything went dark. The entire stadium plunged into a blackout. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd as the scoreboard, lights, and even the giant lion animatronic perched above the stands all went dead. Ford Field, the shining beacon of modern sports architecture, had become a pitch-black cavern. Minutes stretched into an eternity. Fans turned on their phone flashlights, creating a galaxy of tiny lights. Players huddled on the sidelines, their breath visible in the cooling air. Officials tried to restore order, but the silence was palpable, broken only by nervous whispers. Then came the sound. It began faintly, like a low hum, emanating from the field itself. Some thought it was the generators kicking in, but the hum grew louder, more insistent. It wasn't mechanical. It was rhythmic, pulsating like a heartbeat. And then, in the center of the field, a strange, shimmering light appeared. The players backed away as the light grew, swirling and coalescing into a humanoid shape. Gasps erupted as the figure solidified. A tall, spectral entity draped in a flowing cloak that seemed to shimmer with the colors of both teams. Its face was obscured, but its voice, deep and resonant, echoed through the stunned stadium. "You play for glory," it intoned. "But tonight, you play for far more. Your paths have converged, and fate demands a resolution." Panic erupted. Fans screamed. Players froze. And security personnel tried to approach the figure, only to be repelled by an invisible force. The entity raised its hand, and the field itself seemed to transform. The pristine turf morphed into an otherworldly landscape. A warped gridiron where the end zones glowed faintly, and the yard markers floated in mid-air. "One drive," the entity declared. "One drive to decide your fate. The victor moves forward. The vanquished will never return." Before anyone could comprehend the gravity of the situation, the players found themselves aligned on the field. as if compelled by an unseen force. Stanton stood behind center, his helmet glowing faintly, while Holloway led the Commanders' defense, his eyes blazing with determination. The crowd watched in stunned silence, as if bound by the same mysterious power. Detroit's offense took the ball, marching down the surreal field with precision. Stanton seemed almost superhuman, threading passes through impossible angles. But Washington's defense, led by Holloway, countered with ferocity. The tension was unbearable as the Lions reached the Commanders' 10-yard line with seconds left. On the final play, Stanton dropped back to pass. Time seemed to slow. Holloway, defying all logic, leaped high into the air and intercepted the ball, his hands glowing with the same ethereal light. As he hit the ground, the stadium was engulfed in a blinding flash. When the light faded, Ford Field was back to normal. The power was restored. The scoreboard showed 21-17 in favor of Detroit, and the fans were cheering as if nothing had happened. But on the field, every player, coach, and official knew the truth. The Commanders had won, but the price of their victory was one no one could articulate. The Lions walked off the field, their faces blank, their spirits seemingly drained. Stanton, once the heart of the team, simply removed his helmet and stared into the distance. For the rest of the season, neither team would discuss what happened that night. The Commanders advanced to the NFC Championship, but their victory felt hollow. Fans and analysts chalked up the blackout to a technical glitch, but whispers of the Gridiron specter persisted. Years later, when players from both teams were asked about the 2024 divisional round, they all gave the same cryptic response: "You wouldn't believe me if I told you."